just hello there, hello. Just started watching Poltergeist, 1982. I got to the end of The Exorcist. I got to the end of the Exorcist the Heretic, 1977. Last evening, and I had this urge to watch Poltergeist 1982. I haven't seen it for years, and yes, of course there is. But let me show you something first. See the scene here with the tree. Thing is, there's always been this controversy about it. There's always been this thing about it. Did Tobe Hooper actually direct this movie? It's because it's got Spielberg written all over it. No pun intended. And I did look up an article. Let's get back to the article. I actually read the article last night. One of the stories over the years was that Tobe Hooper, because it was a big Hollywood production, he had like a semi-nervous breakdown because he couldn't handle it. That was one like rumor. That was one thing that I had read over the years. And then I came across this article last night, which is who did Poltergeist combat? Poltergeist. Who directed it? Okay. So look, I'm 5 minutes in, barely 5 minutes in. And I'm telling you, 12 minutes in, right? And so far this has got even the tree, which is the spooky look about it. It says here, for years rumours have circulated that Poltergeist's credited director Tobe Hooper wasn't actually behind the lens of the classic 1982 horror. Where is it? Okay, so John Leonette, right, he directed 2014's Annabelle. He was the first assistant cameraman on Poltergeist 1982, and he says Tobe Hooper was there, but he only did a few things. Yeah, Hooper was there, and I think they said Hooper did a couple of things. This film's got Spielberg written all over it. I'm only 12 minutes in. There's no Hooper in it. At all. It's totally Spielberg. Two very different directors. And tell that from the beginning. This article here from Independent. This one here. Wow. Now, so, by the way, so yes, the girl, her budgie just died. It's overfeeding the goldfish, and doing that, and it is fun to come back to this. It's slightly foreboding, but even a shot like this doesn't say Hooper. It's still Spielberg, right? But I haven't seen this for a while. These shots. Anyway, this is not going to have 39 pieces of footage either. This will not turn into 39 pieces, but 1982 Poltergeist, 1982 Poltergeist. This will not turn into 39. This will not turn into 39 pieces of footage. It's that was interesting. Because the very next thing, the mother walks into the room and says, "You're overfeeding the goldfish." And he says, "You know what happens when you overfeed the goldfish? They turn the sharks." This very next line, he said, "You're, ooh, for dramatic effect. Wait, let's go for some dramatic effect." She said, very next thing, she said, "You're overfeeding the goldfish. So let's go. All right." Okay, getting back to the movie now. And how drastically different is the photography from the 1970s, between the 1970s and the 1980s. I like the photography of the 1980s. Totally different generational feel to it. I do. It has a very different feel to it. It's not a negative thing at all. I like 1980s film photography, and the way this is shot. It's got Spielberg written all over it. This is shot well. It's Poltergeist. Poltergeist, yes. Okay, there's a thing here, a little thing. Look, just with this thing. Look, see that scene? The curtains. See the curtains. Now, the curtains are moving. Now, I just noticed that to me the curtains they're moving, and that's a character. As a part of the scene, it's a character. And I find things like that to be a little bit, maybe Tohu directed this scene. I mean, the whole thing's got Spielberg written all over it, but however, and the father's legs, under the blanket, look, the part there is moving, okay? And so are the curtains, right? And that's a character unto itself. It's a small detail, but I think it's a character unto itself. Okay, alright. And then the classic old 80s bed head, classic old 80s frame. Oh yeah, no, yes. Anyway, so I just wanted to say that. Yes. This is a good photography, this. I like the way the camera's looking, like, down. Oh, it's a well laid out shot. And to signify the outside thunder, the curtains are signifying that. So I just looked at, I slept through about 30 minutes of this. It's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing to do that. Sometimes I'll do that. I was still listening. No, I didn't rewind it back. This movie is, I'm about to contradict myself. It's engaging. I did fall asleep, yes. Beatrice Straight. I just looked up the cast. This woman here, very prominent eyes, looks the part, paranormal psychologist. Looks the part of it. And there is a bit of toe pooper in this. After all, there is quite quite an amount of toe pooper in this. It's quite an interesting movie. And her pink dress goes with her red hair, and she looks the part. In fact, the guys by the monitors in this, I just realised they remind me of the guys from Insidious. I think Insidious borrowed a little bit from this, because they remind me of that. I think Insidious took a bit from that. This is it's so strange to watch a 1980s movie after watching a 1970s movie. Because the aesthetics of the 1980s are very different. And this, apart from the fact I fell asleep, this movie is entertaining. And it's done well. Oh, I'm still half asleep. Paying attention now. Turning to pay attention. Must have been really tired before. Okay. I can't help but notice outside. Look at the background. Look at the background. You see the background? The background is the background. Background reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. I just look at the background. I think Wizard of Oz. Apart from the wood paneling piece, I think Wizard of Oz. I think Wizard of Oz. That dog has such a character to him, doesn't he? That dog's a cheeky dog. And go back to me. Back to the movie. I'm paying attention. The way this movie is conducted and aesthetically set up is very much. I've been trying to figure out what it is. I've just been thinking about like a description for it. Like, what? Very othersidely. They do it well. They manage to do it well to make it feel like you're on the edge of the other side, and very well set up shots, almost like portraits, and represents the 80s. It's a 1980s movie, but it's very authentic. I feel like that's an illogical statement to make because it's a 1980s movie, but I just want to jump in here at this point and say that just to double verify that, just to back up my to say something about my statement there, where it's authentic 80s movie. Yeah, that was an illogical statement to make. The photography, I just really liked that it's a 1980s movie. So I can't say it's an authentic. They've done well with an authentic. It made it look like 1980s because it's 1980s. It's a 1980 movie. They do. So it's just the shot is well done, well executed, well done. There's almost a glowing other side effect to it. Back to what I was saying, but I just want to say that you can't say because it's 1980s movie. The shots, the setup of the shots is extremely well. It's extremely well photographed. The point where the colours almost pop, and look, this is afterwards. I'm putting this in shot. This is currently going through shotcut, and it's they've established in the photography. They've established a character, which, as I said, is like the entrance. The entrance to the border, the other side, like a glow, and it's just they've established it as a character of the film, and it's on everyone, especially the mother, but it's on everyone that's in the house. And I just wanted to reiterate that. I just wanted to yeah, I just wanted to say that. But it's there. It's there. This movie feels like the other side, or the entrance to the other side. Get that feeling about it. There's that feeling about it. This woman here, she's great. This woman here she's love those glasses. And the shot beforehand, when they're at the cemetery, great photography. Two guys, the two men, they're standing to the cemetery. It's just it's well orchestrated. This movie, the photography is a big character of the movie. There is Tobe Hooper in this movie. I think he must have directed at least half the movie, maybe at least. Yep. Yep. Oh, it's not a complaint. It's just that this shot, you see his hands folded, and she's practically on her knees, and I'm like, why do you have his hands folded? It feels a bit awkward that he has that at the moment. Oh, is this like supposed to perhaps potentially resemble a church service, some kind of ritual? And she's the woman with the sunglasses on, some kind of she's a paranormal investigator, some kind of a high priestess. I'm not saying she's a high priestess, I'm just saying it seemed quite formal that they're staying there with their arms folded like at a service, and this sort of represents that. Okay. Now he's orange shirt and the red and black. So it's an interesting contrast. And with the orange light next to the orange t-shirt and the red and black top. Oh yes, indeed. I need to get a new cup of tea soon. I've been speaking about this recently. There is no death. There is only transition to a different sphere of consciousness. That's correct and true. Yes, that's the whole feeling I can't get from this movie, the edge of the paranormal. Because the other side. Okay, I didn't think I was going to talk about this for this movie, but the other side, from my perspective of what I've been delving into recently, especially through Morgue Official and Jeff Mara podcast, is that the other side is not Christian. It's not Christian based. It's just it's the source. It's the universe. It's the other realm. The spiritual realm. And yes, death is merely a transition through to another frequency, another realm. We're living in a. This is a matrix. We're living in a simulation. And even in 1982, they grasped that. People were aware of that even in 1982, as it seems. And this movie is talking about that. So the very next line I hear is that death is just the transition to the other side. Yes, and yes. Yeah, there's a significant point in this movie is they're saying one moment they're saying go into the light, the next moment they're saying don't go into the light, and this is the thing, is that for many years I thought you go into the light, but going into the light means it means eventually being reincarnated and not going into the light, because the matrix is a bit complicated. From what I can gather is that if you go into the light and you do your life review, they'll try to convince you to come back, right? They try to convince you to come back, and if you lead away from the light, that's where you are apparently in the trueness of things. Apparently everyone has choice of if they want to return or not. They don't have to come back when you reach the other side. They don't have to come back. But what it is the thing that you go into the light. When you go into the light, it's like, apparently it's a false light, and there is another true light which is outside of the matrix. But if you go into the light and you get your life review, they will try to convince you to come back, though you do have your own free will and you can make the choice. From what I've heard of Jeff Mara podcasts and some of the guests on there, you don't have to come back. You do not have to come back. You can stay over there. You don't have to come back. However, it's yes. So if you don't go into the light, if you go into the darkness, and they knew this, they were aware of this in 1982. Obviously, they were aware of it. Someone was aware of it. They're not making this stuff up. I'm not out of memory. Fantastic. So, one moment they're saying, and I get it, saying go to the light, don't go into the light, yeah. Because there's souls that don't go into the light. They wander in the astral. and they stay there because they have an attachment to Earth, unresolved issues, and so it's like a limbo, being on the astral plane, on Earth astral plane, and for those who truly wish to move on, can move on further. It's a little bit complicated, yet it's not complicated, but they're talking for some, like, I've seen this movie a few times over the years, but I'm getting a much better understanding of things now, of it, like, to do with it, yeah. Into the light, into the light. Still didn't make that cup of tea. I was meant to have to go all the way to the kitchen for me. I have to make cup up in the year. Falls under pragmatism. Alright. Oh my goodness. The end is exhausting. We're at the end of it now. Oh my goodness. A lot of Tobe Hooper in this film. There's a lot of there's a reason that Tobe Hooper's name is mentioned as director on this, because I think he did have a big involvement. I think he did direct a big chunk of it, especially towards the end. Lots of Tobe Hooper in this. There's a little bit of Spielberg in there, but the latter half of the movie, a lot of Tobe Hooper. Ooh, it's a big one, and a big one. And all those 1980s colours, early 80s colours, neon greens and pinks. And yeah, big ride. Is it entertaining? It's entertaining. The pacing is good. It's a big watch, and it's a big watch. They knew about the other side then. They had the ideas about it then. I keep it as a memory. This is it's an entertaining movie. I just feel exhausted now, especially the ending scene where the house it's all implodes, it gets taken, it's taken down. But well directed, well acted, big movie, lots of energy. Took a fair amount out of me actually. Oh, big one. And the skeletons arising from their graves. It built it didn't took the headstones, but it left the bodies there. And it's yeah. And what else can I say about it? It's yeah. Okay. Uh, oh, overall, this movie was a bit draining to watch. It is entertaining. It also explores those themes of the other side, and I should at least mention one time the supernatural. It explores the supernatural. I haven't mentioned that once, have I? It explores the supernatural. Yes, yes, the supernatural. Supernatural, yeah, does it well. It explores them, and I said everyone acted well with high energy. Well, I'll take that back. They had an energy. They put a lot of passion into it to resemble the frequency of the other side, and especially showed on the mother's face. But this movie was a bit draining to watch, and I slept through. This movie was a bit draining to watch, entertaining and informative, and a glimpse into things of the paranormal. You know what, I was about to say I haven't seen this that many times over the years, but I think I watched it. Whenever it came on TV when I was growing up, I probably watched it. I did. So I've probably seen it quite a few times over the years. And well done. There's a lot of Tobe Hooper in it, and a lot of Spielberg in it. I think they probably just took turns. I don't know how. Well, I don't know. I wasn't there on the set, I don't know, but I just think that Spielberg did his part, Tober did his part, and maybe Tober did just a little bit more. Maybe he had a bit more involvement. They wouldn't put his name as director for no reason, and especially being a Spielberg production. Spielberg, if Spielberg directed the whole thing, he'd want his name on it, but they put Hooper's name on it, so I think he directed a big chunk of it. And as in the latter half of the film, it starts to resemble that greatly. And I think Insidious was influenced, took a little bit from it, perhaps. I think it did a little bit from it, perhaps. I'm tempted. I'm tempted to watch the 2015 version with Sam Rockwell. I like Sam Rockwell. I've actually seen it when it came out. I watched it, but yeah. Okay. All right then. Thank you so much for watching, and if you made it thus far, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you tuning in. I do. Thank you for watching. Good night, Charlie Man Patrick. And it's the evening of the 29th. Let me just get my goggle on. It's the evening of the 29th. It's 9:36 p.m. And I really do appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much, and thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Into the light. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.